Hello. Oh no, it's just turned 8 o'clock. So drop me a thumbs up or a comment when you get here. Thank you. How are we doing? All right. Just making sure it's not too messy around the edges of my board. Hi, Alison. I adjust things very slightly so that we can see everything. I'm just going to bring the camera this way a fraction. That's better. There we go. So, how are you doing, Alison? You all right? Excuse me. It's been, we've had thundery showers here earlier. It was quite dramatic at one stage. So I think it's more or less stopped raining now. But no, we've had some very heavy showers, but the garden needs it, so I'm not complaining. Really? I'm just having a look. There's only 2 of us here at the moment. Hopefully a few more people tune in a few minutes. Bless you. It's always like that, isn't it? You sort of finally manage to relax during the 6 weeks holiday, and then not for the whole of the 6 weeks holiday, and then you go back and it's just so exhausting. Yes, I have to hope there's no more thunderstorms. Oh, excuse me. Well, I'm doing my live. Hi, Lynn. So I thought I'd do a bit on, as it's the first, like my first live of the month, and the new challenge is embossing. I thought we'd do some embossing. Okay, so there's 4 people watching now. Hopefully we'll get a few more in a minute. So while we're waiting for people to join us, I'll just go through a few things that I've pulled out of my stash of stuff just to show you a few things. So this I made when the tag ink balls first came out, I think. And I use them in lots of different ways, and I did notice there is I think there's 3 lots of embossing on here. So this was done with embossing glaze through a tag ink ball. This one was done with silver embossing powder. Oh, fabulous, thank you, Alison. And then this was done by putting it through my cuttle book with a squishy rubber mat with it, so that it made an dry embossed pattern. Okay, so embossing. Oh, that's strange, Lynn. So yeah, so we've got dry embossing, and then we've got heat embossing there. So just thought I'd show you that. And then this is heat embossing. That was embossed in white. That was my blog post last week. And this is my blog post today. So that's Emboss Resist. And you can see there's a step-by-step for that one on the blog. And then that's heat embossing. These two bits over a background. This too is heat embossing, so that's clear embossing powder. I used the Versafine Claire inks and then embossed in clear over the top. And that's the same with that one. And those two cards I was looking for whilst we were doing the circle challenge, and I didn't find them, and I found them now. So there you go. I've got quite a time lag on the camera, so you'll have to forgive me if I go quiet suddenly. Okay. Still only the three of us here. Oh, hi Maxine. That's good. Right, I'll just pop these down for a minute. Whilst we get one or two more, and then I'll just pop on here. There we go. Hopefully we'll get a few more people joining us in a minute. So I thought we'd do some different sorts of embossing today. Okay. So I've just got some scraps card. I thought we'd have a go and then maybe pop something together for a blog post at the end, for a finished product at the end. Sorry, brain mouth not connected today at all. So first of all, I'm going to show you how we can dry emboss using inkables. So let's try this one. So this is the bamboo tag inkable from set 5. See, dead organised. I've written the numbers on them. So, and I've got piece of black card. This is it's patterned on one side, but that's okay. So I'm going to put, let's get this right. I've got, this is just like funky foam. You don't have to use it, but it helps you to get slightly deeper embossed effect. And I think I'm going to fasten this together with a clip. Okay. Right, and then I'm going to go over with my embossing tool, and just to start with, I'm just going to sort of go over it, circular motions like this. I'm hoping I'll be able to see what it brings up in a minute. Hi Dominique. Right. So I can see there's a line there. Oh, there's another one. So this is dry embossing, so I'm just using a ball tool. I mean, you can do this a lot quicker if you've got a machine like a Cuttlebook or something like this, but I thought I'd just show you another different way of doing it. So you can use a ball tool and it's just basically go over it until you find the grooves of where the bits are that are sticking out. Oh, there's a bit going over there. Thanks, Alison. Alison's doing links for us. There's another bit. Okay, so I'm going to just turn this over so you can have a see, and you can see there that some of that has embossed through. It's not perfect, but you get the general idea. And then once you've got just do a little bit more up here. Hi Shaz. So once you've done that, I don't know if you can see that very well, but what I tend to do is use something like some what do you call this? Gilding wax. Just get a bit on the end of my finger and just take it over the top, and it brings out some of the detail. Okay, so that's one way of doing some embossing. And I did do, where's that piece? Oh yes, here. So I don't know if you can see that. That's some I did earlier, just through a circle dinkable. And it can make quite a nice border on stuff if you're quite precise about it. Okay. I've got to say, I'm not overly thrilled with that. I think I get a much better effect putting it through the Cuttlebook, but I'll perhaps do that in a little while. Okay, but you get the gist. Okay, hi Stacey. Okay, so we'll go on to some embossing using embossing powder. Okay, so I'm going to choose, I've got these stamps on my desk, so these are Journaling Essentials 3. So I thought these flowers might be quite nice embossed in silver, because there's quite a lot of detail on them, and they've got like more what do you call it, filled in bits. I can't remember the word. I'm sure there's another word for it. Anyway, so with this I'm going to use Versamark ink, but there's lots of inks that you can emboss with. I think all of the VersaFine Claire inks you can emboss with, and the VersaFine as well. Versamark is particularly good if you want to do something like emboss resist. Okay, so I've covered that in silver embossing powder, and I'll just make sure I've got it over all of it, making a mess, tipping it all over the table. There we go. So you can see that's covered that image. So if you go for any sort of embossing ink that's clear, it's just like a sticky surface, so it sticks to the surface of the stamp, and then you leave that image on the card. Okay, forgive me if I'm teaching Granny to suck eggs. I don't know who's done much in the way of heat embossing before. So I'm using my heat gun, and it's starting to heat up. Look, and you can just see it now, it's changing. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. So I'll hold that close to the camera. There we go. You can see the shine on it now. Really cool. Okay, so that is heat embossing, and that's, so you can do, you can get different colors of these are embossing glazes, which work in exactly the same way, but embossing glaze is translucent, so you can still see stuff through it. So if I come back to this here, that was done with embossing glaze, so you can still see the stamp underneath it, but it puts that sort of coloured glaze on the top. Okay, and that, like I say, was the dry embossing that we've just done, but I did it through a cuttle book, and you do get a much better impression. Okay. So that's two sorts of embossing. Now the third sort of embossing that I want to show you, just having a look. Just wondering if I've got various scraps of card here. I was looking for something a little bit darker. Oh, here we go. Got some black there. So something else you can do is you can use texture paste. Oh no, not that one. Where's that other one that I got out? I got another one out 2 minutes ago. Here we go. So texture paste. I think again I'll use a clip. Okay. So I'm going to put some texture paste through this. So there's the texture paste through the tagging board. Just gonna remove that bit there, that bit. I'll just give this a quick. The thing with texture paste is you need to get it off straight away, so I am going to sit here and clean this whilst I'm on air rather than letting it go solid, and which means I probably wouldn't be able to use it again. Okay. It's just soapy water that I've got in that. There we go. Okay, and then this we can sprinkle over. I think I'll use. Shall I use white or silver or something else? Do you know what? I'm going to go for the silver again. I won't use that because the black will show through and then it will not be as effective. So I'm just going to sprinkle the embossing powder over the top of the texture paste. And then could do with a piece of paper. I'll do. Okay, so the embossing powder does stick to the texture paste. And then we can heat that up. And it does give a really, it's like extra embossed finish. I should have gone over this with a anti-static cloth first, but I didn't, which was a bit silly of me, but never mind. Hi Barbara. So there you go, that's the effect you get with embossing powder on texture paste. And it is rather zappy. Okay. So what I think I'll do now is I'm going to cut that down. I think we might have some more embossed flowers, and we will perhaps make something out of that and that and put it on a card. But let's emboss some more of these flowers first. Okay, and I'll perhaps do like a colour wash over them as well. papers. Okay. There we go. Well, that's good. I'm because what's happening on the screen is happening a few seconds after I've done it. I'm able to see that you can actually see the shimmer on the embossing powder as I'm doing it, so that's good. Right, I'm going to cut these out. Obviously more carefully than I'm doing with this, but this will do for now. I'm torn. I might just do like a monochrome card, but with some silver. It's like black, white, and silver. You can indeed, Alison. That is right. Yes. So you can emboss things, and the other thing you can do is you can triple emboss things. So you could use like silver embossing powder underneath, colour it in, add sort of go over the top with the Versamark powder, and then add clear embossing powder over the top of that. So it would, Lynn, it would look good with holographic. I don't think I've got much left of my holographic now though. So I'm just going to cut these out. So how's the weather where you all are? We've had thunderstorms here this afternoon. It's not been overly dramatic, just a bit of rumbling and a bit of lightning, but hi Margaret. I'm not doing this very neatly, but it'll do. So there's one. Hi Moira. I do this on a regular basis. I use embossing powder and then I don't clean the table properly and it's everywhere. Never mind. And I've gone quiet again because I'm cutting out. I'm on every other Wednesday, Moira. So Bev's on every Tuesday on YouTube. I'm on every other Wednesday on Facebook. And then there's the ones on, so I'm on the Bee Crafty Facebook page, and then Bev and Sam take it in turns to do the Thursday afternoon on Crafting Together with All Brands, most of the time, but some school holidays they can't do it. Okay, so that's 2 flowers cut out. Yeah, so at the beginning I did show some examples of different things I've made that used embossing, which is the theme of the challenge this month. I've got to say, you lot were amazing with your circles. We got, I think it's 14 entries. Very good. Is it grandkids school run? I don't know how old you are, Moira. I just celebrate the fact that I don't have to do, I don't have to get ready for the new term anymore. Oh, the other thing I will mention, there's the workshop at Bee Crafty headquarters. Well, not far away from Bee Crafty headquarters. That in Bidford is in 2-3 weeks' time, I think it's 3 weeks. So not far away now. Right. So I'm going to trim this. Wow. What I ought to do now actually is find the card that I'm going to use. I'll just trim this down a little bit. Get rid of some of those bits off the edge. I'm just going to grab a 6x6 card, which I think there's some just behind. Oh, they're not white though. Hang on a second, let me find a proper one. And this isn't 6x6, it's 5x5. That's okay. We can work with it. Okay. Right. I'm going to trim that top a bit as well. Oh, I need to see where that little mark is that I just put on there. I think that's it. Okay, hope I've got that right. Yeah, that looks about right to me. I'm just going to take a little bit more off those edges. I think it's good that you don't feel older. Okay, just grab my bone folder and sort that edge out. And then I'm thinking I'm going to put that there. Am I going to be able to fit 3 on? Maybe not. Unless I do it like that. Do we think that looks alright? Make sure you can see it properly. What do we think? Quite like that. Hi Caroline. Yes, I think I'm going to go with that. Okay. So I'm going to use double-sided tape for this because it's quicker. And then I'll probably spend longer peeling the back off than I do putting it on the thing. Okay. Yep, I knew this would happen. Fingernails, eh? And double-sided tape too. Let me get my pokey tool, that might help. Right, so that's that bit done. So that's that. I'm thinking I'd quite like to include just a tiny bit of dry embossing as well. So what I'm going to do, somewhere here, I've got my dotty, sure I've got my dotty inkable. What have I done with it? I can find something similar. Similar to dots. Oh, I forgot my nails this lot. Let's have a little look. That would work, I think. Or it might be a bit on the big side. No, let's do that. Okay. Right. So I'm going to line up. I have to stand up to do this. Excuse me if you start to see me coming in front of the camera. Right. So I'm lined up that line of the stencil there with that edge of the card, and then I'm going to use, there we go. I don't know if you can see this. So I'm using the ball tool to follow the edge of that, but just that one bit of pattern. Going down along the card. Okay, so if I turn that over, you should be able to see now that that is embossed down that edge, just there. Okay, and then I just need some sticky pads. There we go. And I'm going to stick these on. This is where I end up with all the backing is like confetti all over the table. So I'm going to put one at that end. And that one up there. And then this one, did I put it? There, I think. I think we all go through that when we were looking in the mirror and seeing a mum. And at work, it was when because I had year ones, so 5 and 6 year olds, and it was when when I was doing a forward roll demonstration for them, and I had to take my glasses off, do my forward roll, and then wait for the room to stop spinning, that I decided that it was probably time that I retired. There we go. So, I think I will probably put a sentiment on it, but not right at this moment. I'll see what I think. So, we've got dry embossing down the side there. We've got some embossed flowers, and we've got some embossing powder over texture paste. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again in a couple of weeks' time. Okay? Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.